The third pillar of indecision that a customer could have is outcome uncertainty. And the way that you deal with this by reducing fear is you take risk off the table. Pretend that's a table and you take risk off. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is make the customer feel that they don't have to do something that they're uncomfortable with, or change their mindset from perceived risk versus actual risk. Because how we alter our recommendation is going to change based on the real risk that the person is feeling. So let's go through an example of what that would sound like. Let's take it away.
So Mia, I sent over the proposal. So this proposal, just to recap, is for the adoption of the entire company to go at once. I know you had a few hesitations about possible adoption throughout. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the departments would be absolutely game. Just our one sort of cash cow department, they're like pretty hesitant. Like we had our homegrown solution. There's been a lot invested in it. I'm just really ambivalent that this is going to be able to be rolled out properly. They're kind of hold the keys to the bank account.
Yeah. So totally understandable, right? Especially since they are, as you said, the cash cow of the business. So Mia, what if we kind of carved out that group that is using the homegrown solution? We implement this for the rest of the company. We go until we see that the impact, our expected impact. And then once we get to that place with the rest of the company, then maybe we bring in that homegrown, that homegrown group. What do you think about that solution?
I love this example of what you're describing, because this issue right now is it perceived versus actual risk. And right now, what we know is that this is a perceived risk. They're worried about adoption of one department versus actual risk would be something like they don't have the budget to get everything ready for their entire company. Now, many sellers are comfortable dealing with that type of situation by using discounting. So instead of thinking about discounting, let's get creative and carve out in a different way so that the customer can feel like there's less risk and that any of that risk is shifted over to the buyer. So let's try it with the actual risk scenario. So back to you, Lindsay.
So Mia, thank you. I know you have the proposal in hand for the full company-wide implementation of the product by the end of the year. How are you feeling about that?
Like I'm feeling really positive about it for like majority of the departments. Just that one department, like they're the cash cow or homegrown system. I'm just worried that they won't like see the benefit, and there's just so much emotionally tied up into all the sweat that's gone into that solution.
Totally understand that. So Mia, what if we carved out that group, like the group that's using the homegrown solution, we carve them out, we implement this for the rest of the team. I will provide you a professional service contract. And if we don't hit those milestones that we are expecting or very confident that we will meet for the rest of the group, we will hold back on billing for those professional services until we meet that impact. And then after that, we can go ahead and integrate the rest of the homegrown team. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that makes me feel a little bit like less worried, because then I want to make sure that I'm presenting something to them that's going to actually work. So I think if we have those numbers and those results, they're going to feel a lot more compelled to make that shift and, put the money towards it. So that's feeling really good.
The greatest part about what you just did is that you avoided trying to solve it with what many of us in sales are comfortable with, is providing a discount. The problem with discounts is that if you are going to provide a lower cost for the exact same thing, why didn't you lead with that? Customers are always sensitive to artificially inflated prices. So by avoiding the discount, you're able to come across as this is the true value of what you are purchasing. And then you really put yourself in their shoes and figured out a way to minimize the risk that they feel, which is an adoption issue. So you take that risk off the table by saying we won't bill you until we hit a certain milestone. Now, these are not the only ways to solve something complex like this, but getting in the buyer's mindset of how to reduce their FOMO, fear of messing up, is what will lead to success.